Hello, hello, hello again. We got another exciting video about women of the faiths in this month's this year's Women's History Month. In this year's Women's History Month. Wow. Filming this kind of early today because I got something scheduled for later on, but really excited to do this. So today, I'm gonna do an analysis of 3 different books on the same topic. Kind of show you the range that can happen in different historical nonfiction works. So the topic of today's video is going to be Mary, the Mother of God. So I'd say we're going to Christianity, but she spans, she was Jewish. She spans into Christianity, obviously, and she's involved in Islam as well. So, yeah, kind of range of all 3 a little bit. All right, so the first book is going to be Mary, a flesh and blood biography of the Virgin Mother by Lesley Hazleton. If you remember, Lesley Hazleton was the author who also wrote the book on Jezebel that I did a few days ago. And I think I mentioned in the video there that towards the beginning there were some parts in the text that were definitely fiction, just in the introduction, and then it changed to narrative history. And in this one it's also true as well, but I'm not the way it's done in this one, it made me uncomfortable because it's hard, sometimes it could be harder to tell when it drifts into fiction territory as opposed to nonfiction. And that might be true of Jezebel as well. I just don't remember it bothering me as much as I did when I read this one. And it might be because I read Jezebel as the book format and I read this one in Kindle format, so they might be constructed differently, so that might be it. But just if you're reading this one, and I guess if you're reading Jezebel too now, just be a little bit careful because it can stray into fiction in some parts. So the focus of this book, as opposed to the other 2, is to tell the story of Mary entirely as told in the Bible, well, entirely as relayed in the Bible, but as she would have been from what we know of Jewish history at that time. So it's still her story from the Bible, but it's from her perspective and explains more of who, a Jewish woman of her age and social background would have been, as opposed to who Mary has become over the centuries of Christianity. So it brings us back to Mary's roots, and it doesn't go beyond that. It just covers Mary's life as told in the Bible from a Jewish Mary perspective, if that makes sense. Okay, so now that I've got that out of the way, ease of understanding, I gave it 3 points. Prior knowledge requirement, 1 point. Foreign language, 1 point. Blend of truth and storytelling, 3 points. For a grand total of 8 points. So it's more towards the end of novice reader level, but still a novice reader level book. Or novice level reader book. So yeah. And it's a great read. I did love it. I wasn't sure if it was the right blend of fiction and history, or nonfiction. It was weird. Anyway, moving on. For my next selection, I have sorry. Mother of God, A History of the Virgin Mary by Miri Rubin. Okay, so now what this one does is, instead of just telling the story, strictly the story in the Bible, this one tells the history of Mary as Christianity developed, as Islam developed, from all these different perspectives. It covers, Mary in art, Mary in music, and religious history, and history of the church, the Christian church, obviously, and history of the Islamic religion as well. So, different personifications Mary has taken over the years, the different religions, or the different roots of different variations of religions, like Lutheranism as well. So, ease of understanding, 5 points. Prior knowledge requirement, 3 points. It might be helpful to have, some history, some knowledge of religious history for reading this one, some knowledge of art history, some knowledge of music history, perhaps, but not strictly necessary. Foreign language, 1 point. Blend of truth and storytelling, 3 points, for a grand total of 12 points, which puts this at apprentice level reader. Yay! All right. Oh, I forgot to say, I'm sorry. If you're watching this on YouTube, the links to my Patreon are down below. I'd really appreciate it if you support me and follow me. Books cost money. If you're curious about how I break down my analysis, either on YouTube or on Patreon, all the links for that will be down below. So go check that out. I'm sorry, I was supposed to do that at the beginning of the video, but I'm doing it now. Alright, moving on. Our last book is going to be Mary Through the Ages, Her Place in the History of Culture. Okay, so this book, like the previous book, it more covers, Mary, not strictly just Mary as she was in her Jewish setting originally, as she would have been before the Bible was even written, or before the New Testament was even written. But it takes us, through the centuries as the religions develop, follows Mary in all her incarnations. With this one, not to spoil it, but it's going to get a little higher level. So, for a little higher level reader. Ease of understanding. I gave it 8 points because this book is dense with knowledge in my notes. Prior knowledge requirement, 10 points. This book is an argument and requires a great deal of prior knowledge in order to fully understand the text. So yeah, definitely higher range here. Foreign language, 5 points. Blend of truth and storytelling, 10 points. This is an argument, not a narrative. So our grand total comes to 33 points. Master level reader book. Wow. So yeah, that kind of covers the range of how different books can cover the same topic and vary according to, the level of readership, what they look at, and such. So there you have. If you're curious about Mary, go check one of those out according to your reading level. And I'll see you tomorrow with another great video. Bye. Thanks for supporting me.